Night had fallen. The air was thick with the scent of fear and the dew of approaching dawn. Jacob found himself alone. He had sent his family away, across the Jabbok River. Only he remained, facing the encroaching darkness and the looming shadow of his past. His brother Esau was approaching. Esau, whom he had wronged so deeply so many years ago. The memory of his deception gnawed at Jacob's conscience, a constant reminder of his sin. Sleep was impossible. Fear was a relentless companion. The stars, usually a source of comfort, seemed cold and distant. The rustling leaves sounded like whispers of approaching danger. Jacob was a man wrestling with his past, a past that threatened to consume him. He knew he couldn't outrun Esau, nor could he outrun his own guilt. He was trapped, alone in the wilderness with his fear and his shame. He cried out, his voice a broken plea echoing in the stillness. A single word escaped his lips. God. A figure emerged from the darkness. It moved with an uncanny grace, its form shifting in the moonlight. Jacob, his heart pounding in his chest, couldn't make out its features. Fear tightened its grip. He called out, his voice trembling. "Who are you?" The figure didn't answer. It moved closer, and Jacob felt a surge of adrenaline. The struggle began. It was a whirlwind of movement, a clash of wills in the stillness of the night. Jacob, despite his fear, fought back with surprising ferocity. He grappled with the figure, their bodies twisting and turning under the vast expanse of the starry sky. Every muscle in Jacob's body screamed in protest, but he refused to yield. He was a man possessed, driven by a desperate need for something he couldn't quite name. The night wore on. The struggle continued. Jacob felt his strength waning, his body pushed to its absolute limit. He had fought bravely, but the figure seemed to grow stronger with every passing moment. Jacob's breath came in ragged gasps. He was exhausted, but he clung on with an iron grip. He would not let go, not without a blessing. "Let me go," he gasped, his voice hoarse with exertion. "The dawn is coming." The figure remained silent, its grip unwavering. Jacob dug deep, summoning a reserve of strength he didn't know he possessed. He pushed, he pulled, he strained against the unyielding force that held him. He was desperate, clinging to this struggle as if his life depended on it. In a way, it did. The first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, painting the eastern sky with hues of orange and gold. As the light grew stronger, Jacob finally saw the face of his opponent. It was the face of God. The realization hit him like a physical blow. He had been wrestling with God himself. Fear gave way to awe. He had touched the face of the divine and had lived to tell the tale. God spoke, his voice a low rumble that seemed to shake the very ground beneath Jacob's feet. "Let me go," he said, his tone not demanding but weary. Jacob hesitated, his hand still gripping the arm of God. He had fought all night, poured his fear and his guilt into every moment of the struggle. He couldn't give up now. He wouldn't. "I will not let you go," Jacob said, his voice surprisingly strong, "unless you bless me." A moment of silence stretched between them, filled only by the sound of their ragged breathing and the chirping of awakening birds. Then God spoke. "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered, his voice barely above a whisper. "You shall no longer be called Jacob," God declared, "but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men, and have prevailed." In that moment, as the sun rose higher in the sky, Jacob felt a profound shift within him. He was no longer Jacob, the deceiver, the one who had fled his past. He was Israel, a new creation, marked by his struggle, blessed by God. He had faced his fears, confronted his past, and emerged from the other side transformed. As the sun climbed higher, bathing the landscape in its golden light, God touched Jacob's hip, dislocating it. The pain was sharp, immediate, and undeniable. "Let me go," God repeated, a hint of urgency in his voice. This time, Jacob released his grip. He watched as God, shrouded in the fading darkness, disappeared into the shadows, leaving Jacob alone with the rising sun in his throbbing hip. Jacob limped towards the Jabbok River, the pain in his hip a constant reminder of his encounter. It was a strange sort of blessing, a mark of his struggle and his victory. He had faced God in the darkness and had emerged, not unscathed, but changed. He was Israel, a new man, marked by the scars of his encounter with the divine. Jacob's experience is a powerful metaphor for our own spiritual journeys. We all have our own personal Jabboks, those dark nights of the soul where we wrestle with our fears, our doubts, and our deepest selves. We may feel alone, lost in the wilderness of our own making. We may cry out, desperate for answers, for guidance, for a touch from the divine. And sometimes, in the midst of our struggles, we encounter God. It may not be a physical wrestling match, but the intensity is no less real. We may wrestle with questions of faith, doubt, and the seeming randomness of life. We may rail against injustice, question God's plan, and wonder if anyone is listening. But it's in these moments of struggle, these dark nights of the soul, that we have the opportunity for the most profound transformation. When we cling to faith, even when we don't understand, when we refuse to let go of our belief in a loving God, even when it feels like we're fighting a losing battle, that's when we are truly changed. We may emerge from these struggles scarred, but we also emerge stronger, more resilient, and more deeply connected to the divine. We are no longer defined by our past mistakes, but by the grace and mercy that we find in the midst of our struggles. So, the next time you find yourself in a season of darkness, remember Jacob. Remember his night of wrestling, his refusal to let go, and the transformation that followed. Embrace the struggle. Hold on to faith, even when it's hard. For it is in the fires of our trials that our faith is forged, our spirits are refined, and our true identities are revealed. We are not defined by our struggles, but by how we emerge from them. We are not defined by our darkness, but by the light that we carry within us. And that light, the light of faith, has the power to illuminate even the darkest of nights. We hope this story touched your heart. If it resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts on the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of our journey through the scriptures. God bless you.